Hey there, welcome to CNT Collectibles. I am C. Hope you're doing well. Had a terrific Christmas weekend, and you're all fresh. I would say, hopefully you had a relaxing one, but we know that's rarely the case overall. I've got a little visitor here. My friend Pearl. So we'll do our weekly sports card chart blast, and I think she's very eager to join and help out where she can here. So anyways, take a look at the indices overall, see what's moving them, and then we'll look at some of the bigger names in each of the sports. And so over the last month, the Card Ladder 50 index is down a couple of percent, but most of the individual card indices here, sport specific indices, are doing pretty well here, seeing a more green than red overall. And so this is the danger of indices and trying to pick the winners. So do the research and pick the guys with a long-term track record, or buying a basket is maybe the way to go overall. But anyways, the hockey index is your leader, up 6% or something like that, and the low end cards are your laggards, down a handful of percent as well here. So but the other ones are kind of ticking up a little bit as we head into the end of the year overall. Started off with baseball, which saw a nice bump here that you can't see because I'm blocking it here, but a big volume spike. So when you see big volume spikes, that is kind of a confirmation of a change in trend overall. And baseball has been doing pretty well since the middle of the year, or at least it's stabilized in some areas here. So one of the bigger movers in that particular index is the Freddy Freeman rookie card of the Diamond Anniversary. I love these cards; they're beautiful. And he broke his uptrend. It's been volatile for the most part, so it's not like it's making new highs or anything like that to drag that index up. But it is a big mover recently, which does help the indices. If everything else is holding firm, and he gets a big move, that can drive it up overall. And so the indices can hide a lot of damage underneath, and so you can see it in the actual indices right now, like the S&P 500 and some of the other, you've the NASDAQ especially. You really have like 5 names that are driving that index up to new highs, and a lot of other names are off. I mean, most of the names are off 20% or something like that. So if there's an actual reflection of the indices, the market would be down 20%. People would be freaking out, but the index held up pretty well. And as those other names catch up, that could really power the thing to new highs. And so as Freddie Freeman got hammered, a lot of other cards held in. And as he improves, then that's what can drive the index up. And so indices, they can be a little bit misleading overall here. But anyways, in an area where there's been some buying in the past, there's probably some conditioning issues. Down in here, very thin trading. So if you're looking for that price again, you better be quick. All right, Pearl, I got you, kiddo. She's about tall as I am. Those Great Danes are beautiful dogs here. So football, we are looking at a couple of spikes here, and that does lead to, you can actually see this one a little bit here, a little bit of a bump in the overall index as a whole here. So when the volume comes in, you can see that it does confirm the kind of the upward advance, and that happened just after the season started overall. And one of the biggest movers, one of the biggest reasons for that is your 2006 playoff contenders box. So looks like a one-off here. I wonder if that data will be removed, but it is sitting around its all-time highs, and so the sealed wax is really driving that particular football index. So basketball getting a big bump here, and the trend went to kind of negative. So it was a confirmation that it might be in for some trouble here, as a lot of volume came in, and that kind of shifted the overall index into a downward trend here. Now the index is repairing itself just a little bit, but we're not seeing the volume accompany it. So eyes raised here. One of the biggest movers in that index, however, is the Michael Jordan Raw, and there was a big pop here, and kind of to near the top of the range again. You're going to deal with condition issues and things of that nature, but a lot of the Jordan cards are moving while many other cards are getting hit. The worst performing index is the index of low priced cards, and so not a lot of volume on these things. Actually, the volume is making new lows as the index itself continues to make new lows as well. And one of the biggest culprits of that is Mac Jones in the PSA 10. These prices didn't make sense. Down in here, you saw a little hook up. It's like, if it goes below this price, and it probably should, you could see continuation of the downward trend here. So this may even be expensive as well. But it reminds me a lot of when Lou Bob and Bo Bichette came back and freshly graded. And it really comes down to supply and demand. They came back. There's not a lot of those cards, but there's a lot of people that want those cards. And so as more graded cards come online, then the supply then the demand is more met, and those prices can fall here. So it's interesting that he got as big a pop as he did. So there's plenty of chances prices to buy these cards before the pop. Usually you see these things just come out on fire and go down, but there was a decent gain to be had here. Giving these people who initially bought in an opportunity to sell, but whatever. So it even got down here, and at its current price of $289, it's like that still seems a little rich here. But the prices are curling up just a little bit. But again, base card, whatever. So that's why that index is getting hammered as a big piece of it. That large price collapsing as it has, it had an outsized hit on that one here. So. Big spike in hockey cards, which confirms the move up here. And really what we're seeing is a lot of lower price PSA 10 Young Guns cards. Those are the rookies. Do really, really well. So if you're into the hockey market, the cards that you would be looking for if you're looking to make money are a lot of those Young Gun cards that are $30-$40 in a PSA 10, and they can make their way up to 100, and that's where the speculation seems to be, and that's what's leading to the rise of the index overall. Let's take a look at some of the usual suspects here. We'll take a look at the Mike chart on a PSA 9. So the PSA 10 is still in that range, $2,700 to $3,000. There's no change here. PSA 9 is grinding lower, however, and at a area of critical support around $1,000. So the 3-to-1 ratio is intact, and the 9 looks like it could finally find some support here, and maybe enough people are saying, now, I want this card, and they're going to maybe perhaps. Hopefully, who knows, jump in below this. Not a lot of buying here, and you're going to continue the downtrend here. But the market does have memory. Here are your purchases in the past, and here we are again. These are usually your ultimate targets, some sort of reference point in these ranges here. So a lot of buying in this area, and it just was again overwhelmed by the selling. So the trend is still down. I'm not saying, hey, this is the bottom or anything like that. I'll never say that. But risk reward does set up favorably. If you're really worried about making or losing money on this one, then you can take a shot. But below this kind of this support zone here, then that's where you exit. So. All right, Mike Trout in the BGS at 9.5, holding up a bit better here. So a lot of sideways action. Again, the trend is slightly down, mostly sideways over the past few months here, and so. May produce a little better, more palatable option overall. Bryce Harper, top of the range, and it's getting a little bit volatile here. You've had these one-offs before, and they're quickly snapped up, and so we have another one that breaks the trend here. And in previously, that was a great opportunity to buy. So you've got this is a firmly one of the best Hall of Fame tracks out there, and so if he does hang around in this area, to be able to get that price, probably presents a pretty decent opportunity to get a Bryce Harper card overall. So all right, Juan Soto, and this is the Chrome around $250, and that's kind of the price where it's been. $220 is a really nice price, but who knows if we see that one again unless we break this. So it's consolidating. Market's trying to figure out what it's going to do here, but it's at a level where a lot of people think that's a fair number, and so if you're looking for that card, then you can perhaps join them. Manny Machado gets no love, and whenever he does get a little love, it's quickly met with market derision here. So this is kind of your one-off. There's a lot of purchasing in this area right in that $60 area. You're here again, and this is another player on a really, really interesting path, and presents a possibly a very nice opportunity if that's one you had your eye on. Oh, there goes Pearl here. Francisco Lindor corrected things a little bit in the back half of last year. I think people don't realize he's 26, 27. Where a number of players are just a couple of years into their career. He's been around for 7 or so, and he's compiled upwards of 30 wins above replacement, which is a massive, massive head start here. So he does have room to have a bad half a season like he did. So let's see if he can figure it out here. But this is kind of an interesting area. We had this kind of lined up a couple of weeks ago, saying looks like a decent spot. Hasn't moved a ton off of that number, and it's probably still a reasonable area for that particular card. If he has a good season next year, then you're gonna really like that price overall. So Tom Brady, we'll move on to some football. This is the PSA 10. Had a little breakdown, and the next sale came into here, but it looks like that data has been removed. So what we're seeing is kind of a false sale. So I don't know how that works out, but you're still really flirting with that broken up trend, and this goes back quite a ways here. So we're just looking at the last year or so of data here. So it is not holding that trend line here. Now it is consolidating. In the short term, very important support below this. Opens the door to lower prices. End of the world, probably not. There's a lot of buying in here, and perhaps you get those get those people that missed on these auctions to come back here. But we'll mark the trend is down for now until it isn't here. Pat Mahomes, PSA 10, top of the range, coming off a bit here, putting in some new lows relative to what we've had lately. So we'll see. They had a big game today, so we'll see where those next buyers come in. But the trend does remain down on that particular card. And if we look at the PSA 8, so something a little bit more affordable here, there's a lot of buying in this area here. So I'm not saying, hey, that's it, because he had a lot of buying here and still drifted lower. This volatility just kind of smacked it down, but you are closer to the bottom of the range than you are the top for now. The trick is, a lot of buying here. If you want to take advantage of these, there's very few people buying. There's a lot of one-offs here, so we'll see how that goes. But overall trend is down, but you're at the lower end of the range for Patty Mahomes here. Joe Burrow, bottom of the range and getting a bit of a lift. Monster game today here, so you have your tops and your bottoms here, and looks like there may be you could see a little comeback here, or maybe it rockets to the top. You leave it if it does that. If it comes back into here, then perhaps where you take a look again if you're looking for that card overall. Devonte Adams has been playing very, very well as of late here, and he had a monster game on Thursday, and so that was enough to bring him to the top of the range. So risk reward is unfavorable at the time. If he's able to get a few more sales in this area here, it does clear the room for some higher prices. But for now, that is the top of the range, and your risk reward is unfavorable. Do some basketball here. Bird, Johnson, Irving, trend remains down, and now you're coming into an area of support where perhaps some buying comes in here. But this is a fresh low for recent memory here, so perhaps there is some more downside to be had here. So if you've had this card on your radar, this is kind of the target area, and you may want to start looking at it just a bit more closely. Kevin Durant, going way back to 2020 or something like that. So not a couple of years or whatever, but a very key point of support. There's not a lot of buying in this area here, so not a lot of market memory. Not a lot of people remember these prices. Breaking below this, you could have some serious trouble here. So nice kick state for the time being, but again, your longer term trend has been broken here, so it's a little bit tenuous. And your exit came in a little while ago, but this could be an area to buy for now, because your risk is close by and easily managed if that is the way you want to play that overall. Steph Curry with the kind of the upward support consolidation, whatever, breaking to the downside. The market has decided they want to sell Steph, so the next sale could come up just a little bit, but it would just be a retest of that underside, and then your overall target would be this consolidation zone here around, what is that, $1,600. So not insignificant from where we're at, $500 or something, but people are this may bring out, there's a lot of people that bought here, and seeing those lower prices, they may just say that's enough. Who knows? So we'll see what the next couple of sales bring. It could be a one-off, and then we'll fire back up into this area. But one to watch closely. But if it does get into this area, then there's a lot of people that may show some interest overall. LeBron James, PSA 10, bottom of the range, getting a lift here, pretty big lift. From 10,000 to I don't know if it's exactly 10,000, but up to $13,000, so a couple grand here. So we'll see how this plays out. A lot of buying in here. Maybe we'll get some chasing on people that miss these auctions, saying, "Oh my gosh, I missed my window here." So a little bit upside, but the trend does remain down overall. But it is well defined in this compression, and it does favor kind of a breakout at some point someday here. But you wait for it before you say the trend remains up here. So again, breaking kind of this consolidation that we've had for a while was a bit of a problem, and you start to target this area, and here we are. So we'll see how that plays out. Giannis in that $1,200 range, couple of purchases here. So this is really weak support because there's not a lot of market memory here. This was more solid in this area, but you broke it, and this previous support is now resistance. And so thought maybe you could see a sub $1,000 Giannis card, and if you can't sneak up above this and hold it, then that's still kind of in the cards here, because this recent low is very, very weak. Not a lot of market memory in there, so we'll see how it plays out on this one here. But Giannis as well, he's in the same boat as the rest of the NBA for the most part, in a pretty persistent downtrend. Ja Morant, $200 was pretty decent support, and our long-term target. It started to curl up and wanted to break out, but it failed, and then it really, really failed below that $200 area. And now you're testing the underside of that one here. Maybe this was like $250 or something like that. Now it's $200 because the recent sale $199.99, and here you are again. So if it can't clear that, then back down to that maybe that $150, $175 area here. So that's a big move. in percentage terms, and so we'll see how many people think this is the price versus that $200 is the price. And to be fair, there was a lot of people that used to think that $200 was a pretty good price for it. Darius Garland, we had this outlined as resistance a couple weeks ago. He snuck his head above here but couldn't hold it, so that was a fake break, and you should see a violent move to the downside, and you're starting to see that volatility pick up just a little bit. So there's now you can see some stabilization. There's a lot of buying in this area here, a lot of buying in this area, so maybe it's a grind, but below this area, you're kind of at the top end of that risk reward spectrum. Few hockey here. Connor McDavid, top of the range, coming up just a little bit. Very long-term support is being tested and getting a little bit of a bounce, so risk reward sets up favorably, but it's a very tight compression zone. You may just want to watch for now. Ovechkin, top of the range, coming off. Another one to watch. Hockey's been a great performer here, but it's mostly the lower end guys, lower priced guys, not lower end guys, lower priced guys that are moving that market overall, while the big dogs kind of consolidate at the top end of their ranges, and Austin Matthews top end of his range, and it is a downtrend coming off just a little bit there. All right, Star Wars cards have been added to Card Ladder, so this is what I'm talking about. So C-3PO, PSA 8 in the error card. He's very happy to see you, and he is right around his all-time highs. I don't know if you do anything with it, but yes, this is a card you should absolutely have, and look for that one in the future. Luke Skywalker in a PSA. Is that also an 8 here? Off of it's not at its highs or anything like that, but coming into an area where recently we've seen some buying. If it sneaks below this, not a lot of action here, a lot more action here. So we'll see what kind of demand the Star Wars card market can get. And Grogu the Child in a compression. And there's a decent amount of buying, but there's a decent amount of buying in here. So you just mark this as your line in the sand, but we're not talking about a huge amount of money here. So you want this card in a high grade, probably okay getting this card in high grade. And yeah, I could get cut in half, but you're out a decent dinner for two. So all right, wrap it up here with a couple of Pokemon. Pikachu, top of the range, coming off. Decent amount of buying here. Anytime you made it to the bottom of the range, snapped up pretty quickly. So I don't know if you're quick enough to do that, if that's what you're looking for, but the trend does remain down overall. And Blastus, the Pokemon index was actually up a bit. So this is the biggest gainer in that particular index. So the trend is down, but it made a rip off the bottom of the range to the top of the range. There's a few purchases up here, which is a good sign. So perhaps we're going to see some chasing and breakout. But for now, the probabilities favor downside. Your risk reward is not favorable on this one here. So if it goes sideways a little bit and breaks this trend and holds it, well, then we'll mark the trend is up. So, all right, there it is. I hope everybody had a terrific holiday weekend. Enjoy the last week of the year. I'll try and put out one more thing, see what comes up. Maybe there's a couple boxes come in, and you get two more things from me. So, anyways, it's been a fun year, and I certainly appreciate everyone's support, and we'll talk to you very soon. Bye.